G'day, Sister and Sincere. I just want to have a little message for this super video that's being put together about the Halp program. Basically, it goes back to 2009 when Andrew Grant and I planned the first part of the program, and in 2010 we took the first Humanitarian Aid Leadership Team, or Halp team as it became known as, to Cambodia for 12 days.
Why I personally went on this trip was because I'm interested in criminology and victim restoration, and countries like Cambodia, who are third world countries, have such rich historical contexts, and this trip allowed me to do that along with humanitarian aid.
It was an amazing opportunity. I heard it was an opportunity to see the world and to meet many great people and have great experiences.
I never expected to see what I saw on this trip. The country is crazy, it's insane, but I love it. Like, I fell in love with the people, I fell in love with the food, I fell in love with the places, I fell in love with the memories, I fell in love with my new family. Because they're family now, they've changed my life in ways that I could never have imagined.
Hey, look, I believe it's changed the lives of thousands of people in the countries I've visited, and that's included Vietnam and Cambodia, where we've now been 3 times, as well as here in New Zealand. It just makes a big difference to people, touches a lot of people. I think it grows and empowers people, makes me feel stronger as a person, proud as a Kiwi and proud as a teacher, seeing what our students do internationally.
That I think back on it, I want to base my career around helping people. I want to help them, have better lives and be healthier, and I want to inspire them to be as successful as they can.
It's made me value life and what I have and how fortunate I am as a person. And it's just, what I'd want to share with other people is, if you do get the opportunity to be a part of programs like this, then do it. Because you can always try to understand people's situations as an outsider looking in, but it's not until you actually go somewhere and experience things firsthand that you understand how people live and how different life is in different parts of the world.
Before setting out on this trip, I used to think one man couldn't change the world. And maybe that's true. But the world can change one man. And that's exactly what happened. I came home and I looked in the mirror, but I didn't recognize who I saw. But that's okay, because I love the person I am now. I love the person I've become.
I was told that this trip would change my life, and I didn't believe it until it happened. So this definitely isn't an opportunity to miss out on. Don't pass up this opportunity, because you never know whose life you're going to affect next.
On September 25th, 2013, 13 students and 6 teachers from Manurewa High School and Alfriston College set out on a humanitarian aid leadership program for Cambodia. The members of this trip set out to save lives, make new friends, and experience a whole new way of life. Little did they know how much it would affect them. This is their story. After 12 hours of flying and a stopover in Singapore, we finally arrived in Cambodia. Despite the immense heat and how tired we were, we wasted little time to get involved with the local culture by heading out to a nearby artisan centre and then to dinner with an Apsara dance. After 42 hours without sleep, our bodies finally gave into exhaustion without warning. But nothing, not even sleep, could prepare us for what came the next morning, as we headed out to the floating village on the Tonle Sap River to grasp an understanding of what living conditions in Cambodia can be like.
Broke to Monday, something's not the same. Blank head, cross eyes, sweep the floor. Feel your presence, in your absence, shut the door. Oh, 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 oh. House on fire, leave it all behind you. Oh, 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 oh. Dark as night, let lightning guide you.
While at the floating village, we had a chance to look at some of the lifestyle there. We had a quick look at the merchandise, which ranged from Willy Wonka glasses to drinks with scorpions in them. From there, we had a quick look at the small conjoining crocodile farm. We then jumped back in our boat to head to the dock, before heading to an eco-village nearby where we had a couple of activities planned. We started with a boat ride on the lake, followed by an ox cart ride around the lake, and then Jimmy's highlight of the itinerary.
Keen for fishing.
Fishing today.
Fishing.
The biggest fish.
Catch snapper.
Snapper.
Snapper Cambodia. I'm gonna catch me a snapper.
So we didn't quite catch a snapper, but luckily for us, Jimmy the fishing master taught us about his plan B while on the boat.
You know, catfish you can just catch with your hand, because they bite onto your hand. Or you just pull them up.
Have you done that before?
Nah, I saw big girls do it.
After a quick picnic lunch, we jumped back in our bus before heading to 2 temples nearby.
If the valley dwarfed the mountain, if my silence started to be loud, slight resistance to too much joy, well, that would bring me down. When I grow up, I'll be perfect, no more worries, everything in place. Then I will stand up, explore my space. It'll take time to make mistakes before you reach the ocean. Space to drink your wine before you touch the sea. Oh yeah, you will be there, thrown across the water. Time to make mistakes before
Finishing at Bante Strait, we headed to our second temple, where the 4 boys decided to have a little competition by taking photos with the random people.
Through the daylight shows imperfection, and I've been walking, covering my face. Could I walk out with the sun and find a little grace? Now I'm grown up, far from perfect. I've got worries, nothing is in place. Still I should stand up, explore my space. Gotta take time to make mistakes before you reach the ocean. Space to drink your wine before you touch the sea. Oh yeah, you will be there, thrown across the water. Time to make mistakes before. Well, the lights are low tonight. That's when hopefuls take their
As the sun started to set on Phnom Penh, we jumped back in our bus and headed off to dinner. However, just after ordering, all the lights went out, and so we were forced to have a romantic candlelit dinner for 19. Much to everyone's enjoyment, except for Darren's, who almost flipped the entire table when a cricket jumped on him. Once dinner was done, we headed back to our hotel for a quick swim before getting ready for our next day. Day 3 was said to be the second day of temple exploration. The plan was to start at Angkor Thom, followed by Ta Prom, and then Angkor Wat. However, to get to Angkor Thom, we had to travel by style, with Keely's highlight of the itinerary.
Elephants.
Conveniently, all of our cameras died despite the day not having finished. We went on to visit a concert called Beat the Cello, performed by a Swiss man by the name of Beat Rickner, the founder of the Kanthabofa Hospital, which offers free medical care to the children of Cambodia. From there we went on to dinner, back to the restaurant we visited the previous night where the lights went out. Luckily this time the lights stayed on and we weren't forced to resort to candles. From there we went out to the night markets, where we were allowed to test out some of our bartering skills. However, it was there that we saw one of the most horribly memorable things of the entire trip. I personally watched as 3 guys jumped off a motorcycle and smashed a glass bottle over one guy's head. Luckily it bounced off and cracked on the ground, but the 3 guys chased the man onto the bridge and beat him while he was surrounded by people. When the police came, we thought everything would be okay, but they just told the guys to go away, and then they walked over like they didn't even care.
What end you go?
Huh?
Oh, you aren't.
On our 4th day in Cambodia, we headed out to team up with New Zealand Aid to see the impact they were having on the agriculture in Cambodia. The plan was to visit 2 farms before heading to the Thailand border.
La 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 la, la la. Oh, oh, oh. La 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 la, la la. If every day is just a dream, then who would I wanna be? Today I think I'll be the queen, flying through a time machine. Oh, my, discover what's deep inside. Oh, my, loving everything I find. La 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 la, la la. Oh, 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 la 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 la, la la. If I woke up in a sky of blue, wondered what I ought to do. Every second there's something so brand new, so happy I'm breaking through. Oh, my, discover what's deep inside. Oh, my, so wonderful being me. La 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 la, la la. Oh, 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 la 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 la, la la. Oh, my,
And with that, another day came to end. Or so I thought. After returning home, I found some footage I can only assume was not meant to be seen. On our last day in Siem Reap, we split up into 2 groups. As part of Group A, I was able to team up with World Vision, and from there I was able to have a look at the area development program and then have a look at the local school.
I want to leap over buildings, want to fly over the shores, save the people from the villains, catch the crooks who rob the stores, Write my name upon the sky, and when you call me, I'll be there. Faster than a lightning flash, rushing through the cool night air. So start ignition, count to 0. I just wanna be a superhero. With fearless thoughts, emotions swirled, I wanna be the man that saves the world. Yeah. Full of super problems, so we made up a Superman, but he is just imaginary. And here we stand without a plan, with new ideas and innovation. Man still cannot tame creation, and though I'm told I'll never fly, that doesn't mean that I won't try. So start ignition, count to 0. I just wanna be a superhero. Thoughts, emotions swirled, I wanna be the man that saves the world. So start ignition, count to 0. I just wanna be a superhero. Emotions swirled, I wanna be the man that saves the world.
After 5 non-stop days in Siem Reap, we got back on a bus for a 6-hour trip to the capital of Cambodia, Phnom Penh. As the day went on, we decided to stop for lunch. Unfortunately, despite my wishes, it wasn't McDonald's that we stopped at, and instead, I had to face my greatest fear as we stopped in Spiderville. As the day started to fade, we found ourselves in the crowded city of Phnom Penh. Despite our eagerness to get out and explore the city, we decided against it and instead used the rest of our day to relax. On our first day in Phnom Penh, we split back up into our two groups. While Group B this time went with Real Vision, a religious festival changed Group A's plans, and so instead of checking out the Tabitha Foundation, they instead got to explore the city. Unfortunately, not much footage of Group B's day was captured. However, from the one film I did see, I can only hope that everything ended okay.
Brian. Yeah, we wanna see you guys. So when you guys go with your mouth.
Day 2 in Phnom Penh was undoubtedly the most highly anticipated and most rewarding day of my entire life. We headed to the Centre for Children's Happiness, a centre built for orphans where most of our fundraising and sponsorship would end up. We had no idea what to expect, but the one thing that we did learn was that the greatest gift we gave wasn't the presents we bought, but it was the simple act of a smile. As the day went on, we reluctantly realized that we would have to leave. But the one thing we held on to was that was, and possibly always will be, the greatest day of our lives. October 4th was contrasting to the previous day. This day we made last minute plans to team up with the Australian Centre for Education, who would teach us about Cambodia's history, before discussing the social differences between New Zealand and Cambodia. And it was here they would make friends that we wouldn't soon forget. Our last day in Cambodia would end up being the most shocking of the entire trip. We started our day slow by visiting the Royal Palace, but it wasn't before lunch broke that we found ourselves at the S21 Museum, followed by the killing fields, where millions of Cambodians were killed during the Khmer Rouge. Glass floats, a nation drowns. Descending to the abyss, from mass graves in the once gentle land. Their blood seeps into Mother Earth. Their suffering spirits whisper to her, "Why has this happened?" Their voice resounds in the spirit world, shouts through the souls of survivors, determined to connect, begging the world, "Please remember us. Please speak for us. Please bring us justice." After 10 days, it was finally time for our journey to end. But as much as we wanted to stay, we knew we wouldn't forget the memories. But for now, it was time to come home.